When the U.S. government shut down on October 1st, 2025, questions and concerns about the status of our parks immediately became breaking news and trending topics. In this episode, we aim to share how to recreate responsibly during these challenging times. I'm your host, Missy Rentz, and this is the Parks Podcast. I am joined by John Goodwin. You guys know him because he's been on episodes before, but John is a retired National Park Service ranger and author of Echoes of the Badge, Stories from a National Park Service Career. John, welcome to the Parks Podcast again.
Thank you, Misty. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah.
I feel like I always come to you when I just don't know how to interpret what's going on with the parks, and this is no exception. As of midnight on October 1st, the United States federal government shut down due to a lack of agreement on how to fund the government. And it can get really confusing. I feel mixed messages. My social feed is all over the place. And it does mean different things for different parts of the government. But for our purpose, what does it mean for our National Park Service units and the public lands?
So things have changed over the years from when I first started as a ranger. Back when we had prior shutdowns, it would mean closing the parks, and the public, they were not happy with that. Probably some of your listeners remember, especially Washington, D.C., and all these places are closed, and Republican and Democrats would use this opportunity not only to grandstand and say how much they love the parks and everything like that, but keep it closed at all costs. And then it changed. And so they're open for the most part. Now, when I say open, your listeners should be aware when they go to a national park unit, and there's 433 park units across the country, not just the big ones that people always think about, the national parks like Sequoia, Yosemite, Yellowstone. There's a lot of smaller ones. And they'll probably see, especially at the smaller ones, closed visitor centers, in some cases, closed campgrounds. For other public lands, you may see like National Forest, which is Department of Agriculture. You may see campgrounds closed. We're getting into the fall, and campgrounds can be closing anyway for the winter. So you may see some managers closing those campgrounds early. So what I would recommend is please call ahead, go on the website, just know that your visit's going to be different with the budget shutdown. You're going to see some parks. There's some states like Colorado where the governor is stepping in and giving state money to the national park units to keep those parks going. And in other cases, there's visitor fee money that the parks can use to pay for employees. They're going to be essential employees out there, the law enforcement, the firefighters, and like that. But anyone working in maintenance, that's a different story. You don't have anyone cleaning up the restrooms or any of that stuff. And interpretive rangers opening up the visitor centers or people at the entrance stations, those positions may not be staffed with that money. It's only going to be essential stuff. You're going to find things closed, and you're going to find trash cans overflowing, dirty restrooms. You may find, if you go backcountry hiking, backpacking, you have an emergency. There may not be anyone immediately available to come get you.
Yeah.
Be aware of that.
So when we talk about national parks, you hit on this, but I want to go into it a little deeper. There are the 63 national parks, the big guys,
Yep.
but there's also several hundred of the other. What are those designations?
There's 433 national park units that are out there. I'd mentioned that previously. And that would include your national battlefields, your national lake shores, your national wild and scenic rivers, your national monuments. The list is quite extensive. If I remember right, there's well over 20 designations of different sites. And sometimes it's surprising. Even at, say, Golden Gate National Recreation Area, where I ended my career, a lot of people say that would come visit Ocean Beach or Sutro Park or whatever, they would be surprised they were in a national park unit, and to see a ranger there. We're scouted all across the country and the territories as well.
So in my social feed, I see a lot of pleading to close the parks.
Yeah.
Why is there an effort to get the Department of Interior to close the parks?
Because of what happened last time, what was the last shutdown, 2019? It was a disaster. So you look at an overflowing trash can and you're like, not a big deal. When the shutdown's over, they can come and just bag up the trash. They're forgetting the crows, the ravens, the squirrels, the bears. They're going to rip that trash and spread it everywhere. And especially when you're dealing with, say, bears, right? Yosemite, Yellowstone type of issue, a fed bear is a dead bear. So, you open up the parks, you have all the visitors come, and they're not doing what they should in situations like this and pack their trash out, right? So you're going to have trash flowing everywhere. You're going to have restrooms that are going to be a mess. You're going to have less protection rangers that are out there guarding, say the Anasazi sites, right? People are going to look at this as an opportunity without rangers out there to go and steal. And that was an issue from the last shutdown. That's why a lot of people are saying, close the parks. Please safeguard the parks.
Yeah, you read the stories of the devastation, just not just like trash and messiness, but the vandalism and the ecological devastation because people went off trails and they just weren't recreating responsibly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in some cases, like I mentioned, the animals that are going to be affected by this in a negative manner, but the archaeological sites, where you got vandalism, that even spray paint, right, or whatever, good luck trying to clean that up. You pretty much just ruined an area. Or doing off-road travel, you might have just ripped up a very fragile area with your vehicle. And I don't know, Missy, I do not know what possesses people when there's no rangers around. And by rangers, interpret rangers, maintenance, everyone wearing the uniform. It
Yeah.
just seems that when there's no rangers around, people just act so irresponsibly. Not everybody, but there's a certain portion of people that do that. And it drives us nuts. As a
Yeah.
ranger, I got to tell you, it's just like, why would you do this? Yeah. Yeah.
And you come from the National Park Service. Are there implications that we would have to be aware of for the other public lands, the National Forest, the Bureau of Land Management, these other places?
Absolutely. Oh, sure. Yeah. The forest, again, you're going to find less employees working there, if any. And you're talking about also this year, in the past 9 months, there's been devastating cuts already to the workforce. And then you look at non essential employees getting furloughed right now. So you're going to find even less. So, National Forest, absolutely. You're hopefully, knock on wood, you're not going to see the level of devastation that, say, you would in years past. I hope the public has learned by that. But yeah, National Forest, BLM, you name it, Missy.
Yeah.
I know any public land that's affected by this federal budget shutdown it's going to be negatively affected.
I know I have Acadia on my list to visit starting this weekend.
Mhm.
Should we visit our parks?
That is, I've yeah, that's probably something that each of your listeners is going to have to decide for themselves. Now, if you don't visit your national park unit, your public land, you won't be spending money probably on the little towns that border these public lands. So you're going to negatively affect their economy. So that's something to think of. If you do make the decision to go, please be responsible. It's not that hard to follow the rules. Follow the rules, even if there's not a ranger looking over your shoulder. Follow the rules. Pack out what you bring in. Not just talking about backcountry camping and anything like that. Talking like front country camp. Pack out your trash, please. If you see a trash can that's overflowing, don't try to stuff more trash in there. Help by packing it out. Bring things to clean the restroom after yourself. I'm not talking about going in and cleaning public restrooms all by yourself. I'm talking about cleaning up after yourself. Bring stuff with you. It's not that hard if you're car camping. So do that. If you see a gate closed at a public land because the budget shut down, don't go around the gate. I saw that when I used to work during the shutdowns. We would close off portions of the park. And of course, people would just walk around them. What about that gate saying, do not enter? Did you not understand? They're like, oh, we thought it meant cars. So if you see a gate, please don't go past it. If there's no ranger around, please don't go in the backcountry and, oh, it's open season now. I can camp wherever I want. No, please don't. Be responsible and just try to do the right thing.
I like your point that everybody has to make that decision for themselves.
Yeah.
I'm currently thinking about hitting state parks instead. I think this is an opportunity to see what else is around. There's a lot of local
Mhm.
and state parks that usually butt up against national land. That
Yeah.
may be a good option for you right now.
That's a great option, absolutely. And I'll get off my soapbox in a minute. But really, what drives me nuts with these budget shutdowns, it's only during these times you see them coming out and saying, "We love our public lands, keep them open," and that's both sides of the political spectrum. I wish that they would be out there the rest of the year and increasing. And I'm talking national parks here, but increase the park budgets. Please bring back our rangers, bring back people, everyone who works within the national park units, all 433 of them. please increase your budget. Just don't pay attention when the parks are shut down. And that's also for your listeners. National parks and all the public lands are getting the attention right now. Don't forget about them. When the shutdown ends, contact your local representatives, contact the White House, tell them to increase the funding, because it's great to have visitors, but when you don't have staff because your budgets are slashed every single year, it does no one any good. Don't forget about the parks.
And I think while it's not a big election year, we are in election season. And I think it's important for you to voice your opinion through your vote
Yeah,
and not just listen. Everybody's saying they love the parks right now, but what are people's records and how they do or don't support the parks? And this is a good time to do it and to remind our government elected officials that the parks and our public lands are important to us.
absolutely. Yep. I agree.
So
Agree completely. Oh,
yeah. So, John, we're on like day 2, day 3 of this shutdown. So maybe we don't see a lot now, but the longer this goes, the more we're going to notice the lack of staffing at the parks. And
oh,
so we just
yeah.
need to be prepared.
Absolutely. If I could, just real quick story. I went backpacking up. Somebody tried to do Half Dome and Clouds Rest and didn't see a single backcountry ranger. This is before the shutdown. And the ranger and me came out, and I was having to educate people as they're heading up towards Half Dome about the dangers of lightning, the dangers of rain on the granite if they're going up the cable route or even go up to Clouds Rest. And that, like I said, that was before the shutdown. Be prepared if you're going to go to the public lands. There's less rangers now. There's less staff now than there was before. Now you'll find hardly any since the past 9 months. It's been decimated. So please recreate responsibly, be safe, have fun if you go. But just try to remind your listeners, please pack out everything, be kind to the resource.
Yeah. Thank you, John. And I'd like to just put an open invitation. The longer this goes on, if there's more questions, we regroup and put together another episode just to keep the listeners informed on how to recreate.
Yep, sounds good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I just also want to mention that the second edition of John's book, Echoes of the Badge, Stories from a National Park Service Career, is now out. And it's more stories, right, John?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. I arranged the stories a little bit more chronologically, and there are a few more stories in there, even detailing what I've been doing the past 9 months, just trying to do my part to fight for the public lands. But yeah, I think your listeners will definitely enjoy it. It's not only on Amazon, it's published through Ingram and through Lulu. That just means you can go to independent bookstores, or you can go to the big brand name ones like Barnes and Noble, and you can order the book if it's not already on the shelf.
And you can listen to the episode we did with John earlier this year. That was specifically about the book. So you'll hear more, but I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that your second edition was out. John, I just want to thank you for being part of this episode and helping educate us on what's going on with the parks and how do we use them right now.
Thank you, Missy. Thanks for doing what you're doing. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. That's it for this episode. Until next time, we'll see you in the parks. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to like and share on your favorite podcast platform. Music for the Parks podcast is performed and produced by Porter Hardy. For more information, please follow us on Instagram at The Parks Podcast or visit our website at theparkspodcast.com.